Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Heritage Tile Tidy. I'm Jennifer Lim. I'm the director of the Singapore Heritage Tile Project, and I'm delighted to be having you help Bukit Brown Cemetery and showcase some of the many beautiful features this cemetery has. So firstly, tile tidy sessions are conducted as regularly as possible, and they're really about helping seemingly abandoned tombs and giving them a bit of a lease of life. So firstly, the place that we're volunteering in is a very special place. Now, cemeteries, especially this is a Chinese cemetery, like so many places around the world, are considered a second home, a place of rest for the deceased. So with that in mind, firstly, it's important to act in a sort of a fairly respectful way, and I'm sure all volunteers do. Another important thing is to be wearing the right clothes. Now, what you'll find is there are mosquitoes and bugs, so I generally recommend long pants tucked into your socks, long sleeved, and you might want to wear a singlet or a t-shirt underneath so you can change later if you're feeling a bit sweaty. A hat or a cap is usually good. I tie my hair back, and you will be also advised to bring along bug spray and some drinking water, and perhaps even some candies or snacks, and of course that good old hand sanitizer that we're so used to. So cleaning a tomb is not something most of us do on a regular basis, and I recommend it's done in about 4 stages. So before I get to that, I'll just explain the tomb that we see in front of us. This is actually my great-grandfather's second or third wife, I believe, and this is at the front of Bukit Brown Cemetery, Hill 1. You'll see in the front papers and candles. This is because this photograph was taken during Qingming. While you're at the cemetery throughout the year, but especially right now in May, you may notice remnants of Qingming, and you'll see offerings, paper offerings, a little bit of food here and there, or some packets. And this is how it's done to give our respects to the deceased once a year. Are sort of an oval shape like this, so it has an altar section, and you'll see here there are floor tiles. There are no wall tiles on this tomb, but usually there are on the right and left hand sides. So with the tomb being open at the back, there is a circular part of ground, and that is where the coffin is actually buried. So under no circumstances should you be stepping on that circular part at the back, because not only for coffin and that sort of a spiritual thing, but basically mostly for your own safety, because Bukit Brown Cemetery established in 1920s. I mean, some of these tombs are easily 90 to 100 years old. So first step is being careful, and there's often moss on the bricks and roots, as you can see on this one. So above all, your safety is priority, so please be careful where you step and avoid stepping into that back area. So the first step with cleaning a tomb is to sort of give it a bit of a tidy, in the sense of removing leaves. So if there are any leaves or branches that you can easily manage using a broom or a rake, or even your hands, as long as you've got your gloves on, just pull those leaves aside. That'll help to make a more cleaner place for you to work. The second part is we are focusing on the tiles, and firstly I'd start on the walls before the floors. So using that same dustpan brush or even a rough cloth, I would try and rub as much soil off as possible. The next step is to use a dampened rag. So we'll all be bringing our own cleaning water to the cemetery. So rather than sort of splash it around, put the rag over the bottle and be really conservative with your water. Every drop counts. It does when you bringing your own water along. So have a couple of dampened rags, and then start from the top to the bottom, start to wipe those wall tiles down. You may need to do it in several goes, and you may need to sort of dampen the moss and leave it for sort of 5 to 10 minutes while it softens. So expect to do that about 2 or 3 times. Then if you're still finding there's a few stubborn areas, you might use a kitchen, dampened kitchen sponge and just gently rubbing those areas. But we're talking about tiles that are 100 years old. So quite often the soil has actually stained the tile, especially lighter ones. So don't expect, and we don't want you to be rubbing too vigorously. Then the last step is to use a cleaner cloth and wet as well, and to be wiping down those walls. If you've got the energy and time and not too much dirt around, you might like to sort of wipe the floor tiles as well. Otherwise, it's perfectly fine to leave them as is. Tile Tidy is all about really allowing people to contribute their time and energy and sweat into helping Bukit Brown's larger purpose. The mission is to ensure that this beautiful sanctuary, which is often called an open-air museum, actually remains in place. So participating in Tile Tidy is a small effort in a bigger sphere of efforts, and your participation is very much appreciated. And I hope you take away a renewed view of the cemetery and all the wonderful links it has to both Chinese customs and the history of Singapore. Thank you.